If you've ever printed out a Pinterest-worthy summer bucket list only to feel guilty when you don't check off a single thing, you are so not alone. I've been there too, planning the perfect summer that looked great on paper, but left me feeling more exhausted than when we even started. Welcome to Reclaim and Reset with Luna, where we help busy, overwhelmed women shift from burnout and survival mode to a calmer, more sustainable way of living without the hustle. So let's talk about summer, that season that is supposed to feel relaxed and free until we turn it into a 3-month-long project. A few years ago, I caught myself treating summer like a to-do list. We had camps and crafts and day trips and themed snack trays, reading challenges. Every square inch of our calendar was full. And while my intentions were good, I ended up tired, cranky, and totally disconnected from the very memories that I was trying so hard to create with my kids. And maybe you felt like that too, like you're on this mission to make it magical for your kids, but you end up missing it for yourself entirely. In this video, I'm going to be sharing the shift that changed everything for me and what I do instead of overplanning our summers now, because a summer that feels slow, simple, and meaningful is possible. And make sure to stick around for point number 3, because that's where I share the exact framework I use now to plan a summer that feels good and works for my life. Okay, so number 1, the problem with the perfect summer mindset. The overplanning starts innocently, right? You want your kids to have fun, you want to make memories, you want to take advantage of the weather, the time, the freedom. So you start listing out all the fun things that you want to do. Strawberry picking, zoo trips, popsicle crafts, backyard movie nights, road trips, museum visits, reading charts, lemonade stands, splash pads, right? That list goes on and on. And before you know it, that list becomes an actual plan. And the plan becomes pressure. I found myself getting frustrated when things didn't go according to that plan. A rainy day would cancel our park trip and I'd feel really disappointed. My kids didn't want to do the scavenger hunt I'd printed out and I'd feel like I'd failed summer. The fun was starting to feel like a job, and I already had a full-time job that I was working around all of these plans. Whenever something would get canceled, I would try and cram it into another day or another space on our calendar. And what I realized is that I was holding on to this invisible standard. If I didn't make the most of every single summer moment, I was somehow wasting it. And honestly, that kind of robbed me of the present moment. I was so busy planning for joy that I didn't leave any room to actually experience it. And letting go of that mindset was the first and most freeing step in reevaluating and enjoying our summers. Number 2, the shift from pressure to presence. Once I realized the perfect summer mindset was doing more harm than good, I asked myself a hard but honest question. What if summer doesn't need to be planned in order for it to be meaningful? And that's when I started to shift away from pressure and towards presence. I stopped creating packed agendas and started making space for the moments that naturally feel joyful. Those lazy mornings in pajamas, having popsicles on the porch, or those spontaneous walks to the corner store for slushies. And instead of trying to fill every gap in the day, I started leaning into those gaps. So now, instead of planning activities, I plan rhythms. So for example, slow starts on Mondays, adventure afternoons on Thursdays, and pizza nights on Fridays. There's no exact details, just loose rhythms that give us a structure without the stress. This mindset shift didn't just help me enjoy summer more, it helped my kids too. Because they didn't need more entertainment. They needed more me. They needed me present. They needed me unhurried and less distracted by that to-do list in my head. And as I let go of that planning, that perfect moment, that perfect summer, I actually started living in those moments. So number 3, my simple summer planning framework. So now that I've stopped over planning, here's what I do instead. And it is so simple that you can do it in just one sitting. First, I write down 3 categories, like what we need this summer. So for example, childcare, rest, and catch-up time. What we want this summer, like 1 or 2 fun day trips, maybe a beach day. And the third thing is what we're letting go of this summer, like daily crafts or weekly themed projects. After that's completed, I map out our summer anchors. And these are recurring routines that give the season a sense of rhythm without locking us into rigid schedules. So for example, Taco Tuesdays for dinner, library trips on Thursdays, beach trips on Fridays, and then pizza for dinner, and then screen-free mornings. These are kind of the little anchors, the little rituals that create predictability without pressure. They give my brain fewer decisions to make. Lastly, I leave about 40 to 50% of our weekly calendar blank on purpose. Not because we're doing nothing, but because life always fills in those gaps. Playdates pop up, the weather shifts, energy changes, and white space is my new form of self-respect. And if you take away just one thing from this video, let it be this: a loosely held rhythm will always serve you better than a perfectly planned summer that drains your soul. Okay, so tip number 4, what letting go actually gave me. The surprising part is when I stopped trying to plan the best summer ever, I actually started enjoying it more. Without that pressure of executing a packed itinerary, I had more bandwidth to be in the moment. I had more patience when plans changed, more laughter when things went sideways, more grace when we just needed a lazy day in. The kids, they didn't notice fewer crafts or fewer outings. What they did notice was a calmer mom, one who said yes to impromptu sprinkler runs, one who laid on the grass beside them instead of checking her phone and wondering if we were doing enough today. I stopped measuring the season by how many things we did and started measuring it by how it felt. And the result was a summer that felt slower, simpler, and somehow more memorable because I wasn't constantly chasing the next plan, the next activity. I was soaking in the one that was already unfolding. So no, even as a type A high achiever, I won't be over planning this summer. I'll be under planning it on purpose. Thanks for being here and for giving yourself permission to do summers differently. Remember, you don't need a color-coded calendar to create beautiful memories. You just need presence, patience, and a little bit of white space. If this video resonated with you, I'd love to know what is the one thing that you're letting go of this summer. Drop it in the comments below so we can all take a deep breath together. As always, remember, you've got this. Keep showing up for you, and I'll see you in the next video.